There's just 9 days until the MLB trade deadline, and from the reports that have come out so far across the league, it seems like this is going to be Dave Dombrowski's biggest one yet. We're going to get into all of that today on the newest episode of Phillies Digest. If you're watching this, I'm recording this about an hour after the walk-off catcher's interference tonight in the Phillies-Red Sox game. The Phillies won tonight on a walk-off catcher's interference. I can't say I've ever seen that one, and the reason I say that is because it hasn't happened since 1971 in a major league game. The Dodgers beat the Reds in 1971. 55 years since the last time a catcher's interference happened for a walk-off. Crazy stuff. We've now seen a walk-off catcher's interference. We've seen a walk-off inside the park home run by a catcher. We've seen it all. But what this video is about and what we are here for is the trade deadline. The trade deadline is 9 days away, and there has been a lot of rumors going around, and it's only going to get crazier. I think we all know, the last 5 days, 6 days going into the MLB trade deadline, which takes place on July 31st, which is a Thursday, next Thursday, 9 days from when you guys are watching this video on Tuesday the 22nd. There's been a lot of reports that have come out, and I want to kind of just put them all together right now because I think, we see things flying around, and I think everyone needs to know, what's on the table because there is a lot on the table right now as far as Phillies prospects and guys they could get and what they're attacking. So I wanted to kind of hit on just everything that's going on. Jarren Duran, this was a name today. Obviously hit the leadoff home run off of Zack Wheeler tonight. Jim Bowden. I'll say this about Jim Bowden. There's been a lot more in the past few years of things that haven't been true than are true. But the Red Sox have been discussing Jarren Duran with several teams, according to Jim Bowden. The Padres and Phillies are mentioned as teams that would love to land Duran in caps, in quotes. This is one that if you kind of look at it, you think, yeah, this would be awesome, right? Getting Jarren Duran into this lineup would be awesome. He's a young player. He's under control for a while. He'd probably be the best outfielder on the team the second you put him on the team. It seems crazy that the Red Sox, who are a team that's trying to win a World Series, wants to trade him. The reason really behind that is they like their outfield. Right now, Jarren Duran is basically DHing on most nights at his age. For an age like that, you shouldn't be a DH. And the Red Sox like their outfield of Willie Abreu, Rafaela, and Roman Anthony right now. That's kind of where they're at in the outfield. And it seems like Duran could possibly be on the table at this deadline. He could be one of the bigger bats, sort of coming out of this deadline. As far as relievers, and I did kind of want to get into this here. I think we all, kind of know what's going on here with the bullpen. Obviously, the Phillies signed David Robertson to a $16 million prorated deal on Sunday. The Phillies are paying him around $5.5 to $6 million. The deal total after going over the luxury tax will be around $11, but they're giving Robertson in the $5 to $6 million range. But it doesn't seem like the Phillies are done after that. I'm here to tell you that David Robertson is not their big reliever move. According to Matt Gelb and Jeff Passan, the Phillies have interest in Guardians closer Emmanuel Clase. They've sent scouts out to Twins games to see Johan Duran and Griffin Jax. All three of those guys would be immediate upgrade, high leverage relievers in this Phillies bullpen, which is something they need because you go down the list right now and you look at the bullpen and you have Kerkering at the top, who I think, the last week or so, I think Kerkering might just be a little tired. He's got thrown into a lot of games this year. He's had to take down a lot of innings. I think he might just be going through a little bit of a tired period right now. He's got a whip over 2 over the last 7 games. Just a little all over the place right now. I still have full confidence in Ryan Kerkering. David Robertson, their goal come October is for David Robertson not to be in the 8th inning of a game, in the 9th inning of a game. But instead, if a starter can't get through the 6th inning, David Robertson can be used in the 6th, 7th inning. He's a veteran. He had a 3 ERA last year, and he's a guy that everyone loves in the clubhouse, and they trust. They trust David Robertson. He was optioned to AAA once he signed for a little bit of a ramp-up period. He'll be up most likely on August 5th, which is the 15-day deadline once you elect and consent to going down to AAA. So August 5th, I would expect to see Jarren Duran. That would be awesome. David Robertson. But, other than that, this bullpen, Matt Strahm, I've really liked what I've seen from Matt Strahm recently. The fastball, has some more life on it again. Last year, Matt Strahm doesn't throw that fast for a reliever, but his fastball has juice, it has movement, and it's deceiving the hitters. It felt very flat at the beginning of this year, which I think is a reason why he's been getting rocked so much. But he's really started to turn it on the last few weeks, and I think we're starting to slowly get the Matt Strahm of last year, the all-star Matt Strahm that we had in 2024. I'll say this, man. Look at me dead in the eye. I'm intrigued by Max Lazar. I've continued to run victory laps around my Max Lazar agenda. The guy has juice. I went back and watched his 10th inning tonight 3 times. That wicked changeup he threw to Jarren Duran at one point in that 10th inning. He's got some serious juice. He's not some guy that's going to come in and just absolutely unleash and throw 100, 101, 102. But he's going to come in and get outs. He's not going to walk a lot of guys, and he's going to get the job done. The moment never seems too big for Max Lazar. He's not some crazy emotional guy. He just comes in, gets the job done most of the times, and gets out. That's what they need in October. But other than that, this bullpen is iffy. Jordan Romano obviously hasn't worked out. Seth Johnson, Daniel Robert, there's stuff there. But ideally, those guys aren't throwing postseason innings for you. If they are, it's a last resort option. But the bullpen and lineup to me are very equal. I would lean more towards going heavy on a bat. They need to get both. I want to get that out, and I want to get that straight. They need a good reliever, and they need a good bat or two. There's a lot of guys out there that I honestly really like. I think would be fits on this team. I sent a tweet out today at Arcaini Luke saying, I need one of these players to be a Philly on August 1st. Taylor Ward, Ramon Laureano, Joe Adell, Adolis Garcia, or Luis Robert Jr. And I want to focus on that last name here because Luis Robert Jr. is having a little bit of a turnaround year here. Yes, I know you look at the season stats here, and they're not great. Just a 289 on-base percentage, 10 home runs, 38 RBIs, just a 76 OPS plus, while average is 100, just 56 hits in 278 at-bats. But then you go and look at his splits, and yes, he has a 636 OPS on the year, but you go and look at, let's look here at the month of July, right? 10 games, 33 at-bats. Really turned it on recently. 364 batting average, 447 on base, 576 slugging percentage for a 102.3 OPS. And yes, he is, where did my splits go? There they go. He is hitting 299, 427, 552 versus left-handed pitchers this year with a 979 OPS. Phillies need power from the right side. Listen, I would love Taylor Ward. I would love Joe Adell. Adolis Garcia, I will talk myself into. I don't think he's the player he was a few years ago, but any of those guys I just mentioned are an immediate power threat from the right side. Yes, I know that Eugenio Suarez is the dream. They would have to make some crazy moves to make that happen. They'd have to ditch Bohm. I don't think they want to do that right now. But any of those names, including Jarren Duran. I think Duran can be an option for them if they really wanted to go that way. Yes, he does hit left-handed, but he's a young player under control. He's a good baseball player, and they have options. And I feel like in years past, the Phillies have come out and before the deadline, they've said we're going to make this team better. We don't want to part with these prospects. Blah 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 blah. That's not the case this year. They've come out multiple times. There's a big article from Matt Gill about 2 weeks ago of The Athletic saying that this team is willing to part ways with prospects for controllable major leaguers that are elite and ready to help this team win now. Whether that's Justin Crawford getting shipped away, whether that's potentially Aiden Miller getting shipped away, Eduardo Tait, Arun Escobar, Gene Cabrera, these type of guys. Doesn't seem like they're going to move Andrew Painter, which I do agree with, but everything seems to be on the table for them. And, I did want to get into this really quick on Justin Crawford because a lot of people are freaking out that they haven't called Crawford up yet. And this is kind of what I said today. And I don't really need to sum it up into one tweet, but it feels annoying. But if you're going to wait a little bit to bring Justin Crawford up, there's absolutely zero reason for him to make his debut 2 weeks before the deadline. If he doesn't get dealt, it feels like we'll see him very soon in August. And I still agree with that. If Justin Crawford doesn't get dealt at the trade deadline, I think about a week and a half into post-trade deadline Phillies, you will see him in the pros. I think there's no reason to bring him up. It can really only hurt his value, with probably, 6 games to go till the All-Star break, 7 games to go to the All-Star break, trade deadline. There's just not a point, right? This team needs outfielders. And yes, he can be a piece. Yes, there are the ground ball issues. He has over a 65% ground ball rate this year. He's hitting a lot of balls into the ground. Will it translate? I don't know. But if you don't trade him and you look at his stats in AAA compared to Max Kepler's stats in the pros, who I don't think is going to be here much longer, there's no reason to not give Crawford a shot, right? And especially when you look at this Phillies outfield from this Angels series, they went 3 for 24. So I did send this in the middle of Sunday's game, so there could be like 1 or 2 at-bats here missing. But when I sent this tweet, it was about halfway through the game in the series finale versus the Angels. The Phillies outfielders 3 for 24, 125 average with 2 RBIs. Angels outfielders 11 for 33, 333 average, 5 home runs, 11 RBIs. That is a collective tandem of Mike Trout playing outfield. I think 1 or 2 games. Joe Adell, Jorge Soler, Taylor Ward, all upgrades to this Phillies lineup right now. Personally, out of that group, I would love Taylor Ward. Joe Adell is also very intriguing just because more of the control and he's more of he would probably cost more than Taylor Ward. But even Jorge Soler, listen, if you go to my Twitter right now, @ArcainiLuke, and you look up Jorge Soler, I have begged for Jorge Soler for years, absolute years. I think just getting that type of vibe on this Phillies team, the dude hits tanks. He's a playoff prover. He's a World Series MVP. Like, get that guy here. Get an outfielder onto this team because it seems like, once again, based off of all of these reports, that they are going to really make some noise coming up here soon. Once again, some rumors about Emmanuel Clase, Jarren Duran. We kind of already knew that. The Jarren Duran one today. And then obviously I did a whole video on the Mason Miller article today from Ken Rosenthal. If you want to go check that out, go ahead. But, seems like Mason Miller isn't untouchable anymore. And it seems like the Phillies would be the team that would most tempt the A's into making a move. The Phillies are going to make moves at this deadline. It's just about how they go about it, what prospects they're willing to deal with. And it seems like that list based off of last year is a lot shorter. Once again, this has been the newest episode of Phillies Digest. We are 9 days away from the trade deadline. If you've made it this far, smash that like button down below. This is the best place to be for all things Phillies content. Trade deadline, I will be recording 2 videos a day, updating you everything about what's going on. I'm thinking about possibly doing maybe like an hour-long live show here on YouTube for the last hour of the trade deadline. If you would want to see that, let me know down in the replies. But we are 9 days away. It's coming up, and the Phillies are going to make moves. This has been the newest episode of Phillies Digest. Once again, really quick, if you guys haven't subscribed already to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell next to it so you guys know when we are uploading every single day. It's really just myself this week. Once again, I gave Sean a shout out in the Mason Miller video, but I'm going to give him one more because he deserves it. Sean Bernard is now an engaged man. He proposed to his girlfriend over the weekend, so big congrats to Sean and his wonderful girlfriend Maggie on their engagement this past weekend. I'm going to be holding down the fort here for the next few days, but newest episode of Phillies Digest once again. My name is Luke Arcaini, and I will see you guys next time.